Hello and welcome back to a brand new Let's Play series in EU4. I've just installed the brand new DLC Common Sense, which for those who don't know drastically changed the way the game's played, at least in terms of sieging provinces. And there's also been a number of other changes to the way province development works. There's no more sort of just space tax that determines how valuable a province is. It's all based on development, which you can spend your monarch points to further develop a province. So that's pretty cool. We'll jump straight in here. And there's a few different nations we could play. England has a new government type. They sort of have a parliament they have to deal with, which could be pretty interesting to explore. There's been some changes to the way Italy is formed, so to pick an Italian nation would be interesting. See if we can sort of form Italy. Of course we could play somewhere in the rest of the world. That's always interesting. We're not just defined to Europe. But I think for this first playthrough, we'll play as Austria. There has been some changes to the way reforms in the HRE work. It's sort of like a monthly tick. I think that'd be really interesting to explore. So I think we're going to jump straight in here. You can also see this new patch, the map of Europe has been extended. Like the Teutonic Order has a lot more provinces, Brandenburg, few new nations even, Memmingen and Ravensburg. Of course the same thing can be said down in Italy. We've got Montferrat, Lucca here, I suppose Lucca maybe. But yes, very exciting stuff. You might also notice Burgundy is a bit smaller than before, but all of these nations are either in personal unions or are vassals. So Burgundy still has all this land technically, just all different nations. But enough of that, let's jump straight in. You can see here we've got 12 provinces with a development of 165. And let's jump straight in. I think we'll play Iron Man, so Austria. And let's jump straight in. Just let the game initialize, and we'll have a better look at our sort of, and here we are. So you can see here the way the new thing works. You see this little thing here that has a castle, it's a fort, and obviously our capital also has one. Which means if we go to war with someone, any province that does not have a fort, basically any except Canton and Vienna here, they will be sieged almost instantaneously. It takes one siege tick and the land falls to our enemy. As long as they are standing there, it will remain there. But as soon as they leave, if they're not sieging an adjacent fort, it will revert back to us. So basically, the way to win a war with someone is to siege their forts down. And for example, say we went to war with Venice, they could not venture up into these upper area. Like they could not get part to Graz, Steiermark, Linz, for example, without first occupying Canton. This fort sort of blocks them, if that makes sense. The other change that has occurred is that in our peace. You don't have to have the province siege to ask for it, and you can also ask for the capital. So in previous patches where the capital sort of had to be not attached to the rest of the army, sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know, it'll come to me later on probably. For example, here with the Papal States, in previous iterations of the game, if I was Naples and I was to attack Roma, I would first have to take Umbria in a separate war, and then in the next war, because Rome's sort of isolated by itself, we could then claim it and take it. In this patch, I could just go in one war, take Rome. So that's also exciting. We look here, we are taking attrition, so we will split our army in half. We'll also have to pick a few rivals. Interesting, Aragon. Who are our choices? I think it would make sense to rival Burgundy back. Maybe the Ottomans. We don't really want to piss off people in the HRE. We are the Emperor. And of course, because Bohemia already hates us, it probably would make sense to rival them back. But we'll see if we can ever change their minds. Obviously, we'll get Aragon back. And I'm thinking the Ottomans, because we'll never be friends with them, so why not rival them? Disputed successions. I don't think anything there has changed. Obviously, we won't be able to marry Bohemia, but we will be able to marry Hungary. They've also changed what missions give you. Elite prestige is nice, and manpower recovery. Will you marry? We'll marry France. Great. France and Austria. Accept. Do we not have an heir at the moment? No. We are only 29. That's plenty of time. Who else is disputed that we can sort of maybe get? No one. There's Poland, but I'm not exactly sure how their whole government system works. There's Milan, which is pretty sizable, but don't they change to a republic? Hans back. How old is it? It's only 28. We should just to the electors. So if we look here, our rather than having to free princes come to the aid of the thing, and our Imperial Authority going up, say by 4 each prince we free, we have a tick. So far it's ticking at 0.24 every month. Basically, that's due to us being at peace. Free cities, which were also patched in. We'll have a look at them in a minute. I'm not sure how they work. 55 member states. So as long as there's princes, and 16 provinces in the empire under the control of a non-member state or subjects, which is actually something we want to fix. And I suppose that's mostly because of Burgundy. So we'll have to do something there, and with that in mind, who hates you? France. Maybe get England too. Of course, the only thing we'll have to do is sort of jump in on that war. Well, with that in mind, let's take this to get our claim. We have a casus belli now against Burgundy. I think we should also... Who's voting for us? Brandenburg is not. Bohemia will not, and they change their mind. All the others are good. Saxony is pretty big now that Thuringia is no longer a vassal. How many do we have open to? I'll tell you what. We'll marry both Saxony and Brandenburg. We'll kick up the speed slightly to get our diplomats back. France, yes. Who are you? Baden. I'm sorry, no thank you. You're not happy with us? Can we get an alliance? We can. Perfect. Venice, yes. Yeah, this is another thing that Italy, the Italian states, in what year is it? I'm not sure when that will trigger, whether it's 1490 or 1550. Yeah, basically the Italian states might leave the empire. Now, I'm not sure, like obviously these northern things are, but the papal states, for example, are not. I'm not entirely sure if we were to give these provinces to someone in the empire, whether they would add them themselves, or it's sort of my responsibility to annex the Pope myself and then add it. And is Naples part of the Kingdom of Italy? No. Rome is? Yes. Okay, so it's basically from here upwards. So there's these 5 provinces we're going to have to get into the empire. We might see if we can do something funny there. Offer alliance. Who's your rival? Brandenburg. That's probably not good. I suppose we may as well marry you too. Get our... Is any like Habsburgs on the throne? Although the way England works, I'm not sure we can do that straight away. Who are you allied with? Savoy. Hungary would not. I suppose we weren't really counting on Hungary anyway. They're more... we sort of want to get a PU over them. Not really sure how that works, I haven't really looked into it, but I know it's possible. So we'll see how we go. But I think for now, we want to add... No one's voting for me. Why is that? Trier is pretty close. So let's improve relations with them. We'll obviously have to keep our other diplomat free in order to declare this war. I'm feeling we're going to have to do it while everyone's willing to jump in. This could be a very short let's play. Could be done. Let's see how we go. Now the war goal is French Comté, which is down here. It does belong to the Empire. Obviously also we'll have to siege Burgon if we want to keep Tainership, because that is their fort. In fact, let's see now. Can we get a good leader? Not great, but he will do. Punch them down here. With only like France will take that. Now obviously we have a lot more men than them. We'll see if England is able to get off their island though, because you can see a fair few of their come straight here. You come down here. It's also worth noting that they've changed the way you walk through provinces. If you're more than halfway, you can't then turn around. You have to complete the move, which stops a bit of cheese with the way the AI works. Maybe just stand here for now. You can see here we've got 100%. Hopefully some of our allies will jump in here. They did get a crossing. They do have a better leader, though it is his king. But it looks like we might hold on, especially if France... Yes. And now we have a better leader. So we'll win this engagement. And we'll go straight to siege Burgon. So you can see that siege pretty much instantaneously, and it won't flip back as long as we're sieging at this. But if we were to leave here and go north, that would revert back to Burgundy's control because of this. And while it is in our best interests not to make France any stronger, you also notice they don't have their vassals anymore. They just start with all that land. They also don't start in 100 Years War, but I've played a few, and I've seen a few people play, and it always triggers. Obviously, we've delayed that because France and England can't go to war while they're both fighting together on the same side. Does look like they are bringing troops over, which is interesting. You can see here we need 9 regiments to siege this. That is because it's the capital though, I think for these other ones. We'll check here in that. Nevers is only 3. But that's because, I suppose another explanation, each fort you have costs a ducat a month to maintain. You can mothball a fort, and then it only costs half a ducat a month. But I think we're only just making money. I think for now that'll do, though. We are at war, but it's something to keep in mind during peacetime. Maybe we can save a ducat if we mothball both. Obviously, if they're mothballed, they won't act as a fort. They'll be empty. There'll be no garrisons, quicker to siege, etc. So does Luxembourg also has a fort, which is unfortunate. What we're going to do basically, the whole point of this war is to claim back lands in the HRE. I would imagine if we release Hainaut and Luxembourg and take French Comté for ourselves. We'll take the army tradition, we can afford that. They've inherited. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Well, that was easy enough. The king died. We're at peace. Might as well pull you back. So if we look here, that was easy, I suppose. Should probably add all this land to the HRE. What about Venice? You have only Brescia, which we could, I suppose, give to Milan, but you do like us. May as well take it for ourselves. If we look here, has that improved how much that ticks up? It did. There's Emperor options. How many free cities are you allowed? What about if we make Lucha? We try to protect them. Who are our free cities? Yes, Frankfurt, Ulm, Nuremberg, Memmelberg, Ravensburg. Is anyone up north? Verden we could, but I feel that'll pull us into more wars than it's worth. It's not developed enough. They're a theocracy. Interesting. Nassau. They're a monarchy. I suppose be a free city. Fantastic. Are we over our force limit at the moment? Not even by a little bit. France. You know what we're going to do? We are going to jump in here. If for no other reason, then we want to take Barrios, because it is part of the empire. Unfortunately, France beat us there, which isn't good, but they are leaving by the looks of things. So we are winning that siege, which is awfully nice. I'll tell you what, I am going to add these to the empire. Interesting to notice tool makes your authority tick up, which is good. The problem, of course, being is that's going to put us into conflict with France. Although it would be nice if we do take Bariosi to connect, sort of gives us a connection almost. This is ticking up nicely. So we've got 1, 2. It's basically relations. Nassau. Interesting that they've got 2. don't really have... We're gonna have to get an alliance with one of them. We have won the Siege of Barrios. What we're gonna have to do is build up enough war score for ourselves to take that. We're losing a... Is that because of reinforcements? Doesn't help that I've just got a massive stat. We must be taking massive attrition. Yeah, look, 4.8%. That's not how you... So we're going to detach a siege. No. I just need... Detach. Come home. So I've got no manpower at the moment. We earn main. Might as well keep our dude there for now. You're not... Oh, Savoy's jumped in again. Savoy loves it. In which case, come down and siege Provence. And of course, obviously it will piss off France if we peace out separately. But if we can take Barrios here, Genoa, of course. There's no one we can release. I dare not take a province, because that would piss off France something severe. Detach a siege, and I guess we'll bring the rest of you guys home. It's a shame we're not the war leader in this one. I can afford that. We'll take morale boost. Diplomatic reputation is nice when you're Austria, so we'll put you home for now. Salzburg's. Let's improve relations. Okay. We've won Anjou. Is that the fort? It is. We'll bring you home for now. See what we can get in this peace deal. You are low. I want you. You will give me that. We've got 11. No. War reparations. Second minus 30. It may be silly, but it is part of the empire. I'm gonna do it. Of course, I could have released Bar as a state, but that then is easy for France to gobble up. Take the prestige. They want our province, so they would have taken it for themselves anyway. We'll just have to, what's our improved relations? How far did we get? Only 30. Let's keep them as high as possible. We want to keep France friendly. Yes, have you declared? Fantastic. So you can see this is ticking up rather nicely now. 5 states left. 1, 2, I only count 2. Is that an error with that tooltip? Interesting. Where does that 5 come from? I'm not missing anything. That's what those are, isn't it? Yes. It's all in... It's only 2 provinces. It has a core, but quarantine a port. Interesting. Unless we'll take the prestige. Unless it's counting these because they're under the occupation of France. Possibly, but then by Hungary is not part of the empire. Six. That must be these sieges. Let's check. They're at peace? Yes. What did they take? Still 6. I'm not sure. Liege up here, did they? We can't be having that, France. I know we're friends. We have no diplomats. Give it back. Is a week, but relatively good. Might help if we actually called our province. 160. Obviously, in this patch, coring provinces went up. 6. Interesting. Well, this episode has gone on for quite a while now. Are you a member? What's your flag? An eagle. Yeah. I am so confused as to what those 6 provinces are. I can only count 3. I know we've got one in Newmark, one in Venice, and Liege. But what are the... No, that's Genoa. Genoa is part of the empire. I'm actually not entirely sure. Please join me next time. I'll obviously have to look up. I'm obviously missing something. But we'll work on that. We're well on our way to passing our first reform. Except everyone's against it at the moment. That is because we don't have enough authority. That 3rd diplomat, when we get our diplomatic ideas, which I think would be silly not to take as our first idea as Austria. That extra diplomat and the diplomatic relation they're both key to the sort of stuff we want to do. Other ideas we might want to look at, this core creation cost is very big, especially in this. The rest of it's not anything to write home about, but that's a very strong idea. Obviously influence as well, if for nothing else, then Diplo Annex, aggressive expansion, more dip rep and relations. I do like quantity, they're quite nice. Just because, as you can see, at least for now, manpower is a problem, and that sort of helps fix that. Offensive's also nice. That extra discipline's nothing to sneeze at. But yes, please join me next time where we continue our campaign as Austria. Obviously, our long-term goal is to revoke the privilegia and unite the Holy Roman Empire. Obviously we're a few years off that, but until next time, I have been TK421. See you next time.